Here we go.
Hey guys, we're back again.
What's up, peeps?
Jeremy and Jasmine.
Yes.
We're here to update you guys with a couple of new things that's been going on in my life, in our lives,
Very
for that
exciting.
matter.
Very
exciting, good stuff. Some medium bad stuff, but really good stuff so far. Well, the highlight of my week so far has been the fact that my mother now is on board with my wedding. And from what we spoke to you guys about earlier, a couple of weeks ago, was that my parents were both of them not on board. Well, right now, my mom changed her opinion with being on board because she's realized that she needs to be my mother and be there for me on my wedding day. And I guess she's been battling with my father not being able to let me go, and he doesn't feel like I should get married right now, or he doesn't know Jeremy, and just a whole bunch of things going on. But she finally has come to grips that I'm getting married, I'm staying true to our wedding date, not changing anything, and here I am now.
But we had to fight for that.
And we had to fight for that for a long time. But finally, we've made some good turnarounds with my mom. And just, what was it, last week, Sunday, my mother asked me if she wanted to see my wedding dress. And I told you guys I've been struggling with having to do everything by myself. I didn't have the experience with my mother with the wedding dress. And I actually got to have that experience with my mom last week. I was really scared because my mom's a typical Italian who's very picky, wants things perfect, like any other woman, but I was really scared. And the bridal store where I went to get my gown, I got to meet her at, and they had her close her eyes, and she got to see me in my wedding gown. And when she opened up her eyes and saw me, she just started crying, and we both started crying, and she thought I looked beautiful. And I had that, finally I got that moment, and it was so cool. I realized, I'm like, Lord, thank you so much for giving me that moment that I had, because I was watching a bridal show the other day and I realized I had that moment with my mom, so now I can watch all that stuff and not be affected. So that's the good thing about that so far.
I think for me it was just kind of, seeing her go through the whole process. It was hard for me because her mom, you have to understand what happened in the initial beginnings. Mm-hmm. Her mom was on board. Mm-hmm. Like, she was go, it was good. And the excitement was there, everything was there, but then, like, a few weeks later, that whole situation just changed. Like, she was like, no, she talked to her father, and then it just went to craziness.
Right.
So. Exactly.
And then, pretty much, like, my sister and I pretty much decided to go speak to my father and talk to him to see, to reconcile things. I haven't had a really good relationship with my dad this past year, being with the tension of me making my own decision and my dad trying to let me go, and just a whole bunch of things. But we were able to reconcile with my dad. My sister has her own things with him, and we were able to reconcile. My dad has been able to realize that regardless of what he says, it's my decision. He just has to respect it as my dad.
But he's still having a hard time with that.
He's still having a hard time, with the thought of even going to my wedding, because he's like, I want to be there for you, I want to be there at your wedding, but if you could hold it off till October, then I could be at your wedding. So it makes it kind of difficult, because I was like, well, Dad, even if I get married in April, I still love you, I'm still your daughter. And he's saying that he won't be able to attend unless I was told to October, and he knows it's not going to happen. So my mother and all of us decided we should do some counseling. So we're going to family counseling now, and my mother's and all of us are just praying that hopefully my father changes his mind and things will turn for the best. But for sure, my mother's on board, which is super exciting. All my family's on board with my mom, except my dad now. So cross our fingers.
I think, for me, from my standpoint, seeing this whole situation, like, I was a little weary. I'll be honest. I was a little weary because when the whole initial thing happened, and they were good, her mom was good, everything, and then that changed. Like, now that she's back on board, like, a part of me was like, yes, like, this is good, because I've seen Jasmine struggle through this whole thing. I've struggled through it too, seeing her, in that position.
Right.
And it's been hard because from my parents' standpoint, like, they are standing by my side regardless. They love her like a daughter too.
Exactly.
But, so, her mom hasn't been there. It has been hard for her. And now that she's saying, I'm back on board, it's like, yes, but I told Jasmine, I'm like, yo, but, we don't want this to be a repeat. So it's like, for me, trusting that she's going to be there, it's like, okay, good. But we just want to make sure that things continue to progress. And they seem to have they're continuing to progress
and
naturally.
they're progressing great. My mom's like, I'm on board 100%, and I'm going to be there. So I trust in good faith that she's going to be there, and she's super excited. So, and then pretty much, that's our highlight of like these couple of weeks. And to recap on our relationship that we mentioned to you earlier, we have so many things in common: music, art, and our profession, and so many other things in our religion, our religious background.
That plays into it too.
Which plays into it. We're both Seventh-day Adventists, which we mentioned. And the cool thing about Seventh-day Adventism is, if people are not familiar, we're Christians. However, we observe church on Saturday. We don't go to church on Sunday. We go to church on Saturday, and we keep a Sabbath day, which is Friday night to Saturday, kind of like Jewish.
Sunset Friday to Sunset Saturday.
Yeah, kind of like Jewish, but we're Christians with a spin, And so it's really hard as a single person, single girl, single guy, to find someone with the same faith, because
you start thinking about kids. You start thinking about family.
Kids. Like, if I want to go to church, on Saturday, he wants to go to church on Sunday, it makes it really hard. So the cool thing is that we have that now in common. We both are Seventh-day Adventists, and we both go to the same church and have those principles. And with those same principles, I have decided in my life, and so have Jeremy, that, we want to abstain from having sexual relations until we're married, and we don't live together. We haven't had intercourse. I haven't had intercourse, so we don't want to, go that route, because we have a respect for our God.
I think, to piggyback on that and go into more detail,
Yes.
from our religious beliefs and our backgrounds, we follow Jesus,
Right.
and the way we read the Bible, that's the book that we go to. It's kind of like our map for our lives kind of thing.
Right.
But, the biblical principles about marriage and how it's a sacred thing. It's not just like, I'm dating somebody, I can just marry them and divorce them. To us, it's a completely different thing. It's a sacred thing that you and somebody, when you come together, not only, in a relationship, but when you get, take those vows and you get together and you become one.
Yeah.
The two becoming one, it's a big deal.
Yeah, and and of course, there's a lot of temptation, because we're both grown ups.
Yeah, she's like beautiful. It's hard for me to keep my eyes off her unless that's my hand. So it's just like.
And it's been hard for you.
It's been tough.
And it's been hard for me too, because I'm older. And, I've been this long waiting, and it's been hard. However, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a blessing at the end of the day for us, we feel, and we're super excited about that. And people, they ask us, "Oh, do you live together?" And we're like, "No, we don't live together." And for some people, they're like, "You haven't even done anything with them."
You gotta try it out before you know.
Exactly, and I'm like,
you really have to do that.
No, we haven't even done anything, and people find that really weird. But you know what? We really value it, and we're really excited about it. And I'm gonna be moving into our new apartment next month, and he's gonna move his stuff in, but he's not moving in until after the wedding. And we just have a lot of cool things going on in our lives, and we're super excited about. And we hope we can share it with you guys on Quiero Boda.
Yeah,
we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Have a good night, good day, whatever.
Good night. It's been a long one. Bye. Oh my gosh.